Hi guys, Gogo1 back here with the Nvidia Shield. Now that it's fully unboxed and I've had a quick play around with it, I can now show you exactly what it is and what it's all about. Okay, as I said before in the original video, it's quite a chunky little monkey. Look at it. It's fairly big. There is a good hefty amount of weight on this thing as well. Don't be afraid though, it actually feels quite good. It feels like a real good solid, dependable console. It's not too bad at all. Okay, on the front here you can have a look. This is why it's called the Shield, I believe, because it has this part here, which, if I fiddle about with, is magnetic and comes off. See? I'm not entirely sure why it does that. I'm assuming that at some point they may bring out some new funky little designs for it, or maybe it's because this gets, they've tested it out and it gets worn away after a while, the colours go, so you can buy a new one to replace it, make it all shiny and new again. Haven't tried to pull anything else off of it. I'm a bit scared to. Chances are none of it's meant to come off. But there you go, it snaps back on magnetically, no problem. Okay, there we go, look at that. Okay, now what we have here is we have a mini HDMI out lead. This can then lead to your TV, so you can stream the films, maybe the games to your TV, that type of thing. You've got a micro SD card slot here, which can enhance the 16 gigabytes of flash memory that's already in here, up to 64 gigabytes of extra storage with the SD card. You can just take it there and pull it out, have a look. Micro SD. It's only an 8 gigabyte one. Unfortunately, from what I've been reading, it's not been integrated yet, so you can't. It's supposed to be in a newer update, so your upgraded memory doesn't work with this just yet. Not entirely sure why. Not entirely sure the point, but that's just the way it is. Here's your USB. It is a micro USB charger lead port. So that's good. You can just use several leads I'm sure you have lying around the house, or you can use a specific Nvidia one with all the nice logos. But you can always buy a few cheap ones and have them lying around the office. You can have them lying around your friend's house, anywhere really. You get desperate, you can just say, can I plug this in for a little while, charge it up before I go home. Excellent stuff. You've then got your stereo output, 3.5mm earphone jack. If you notice, it's got headphones and a microphone logo, which I suggest is that it can take the 3-pin adapter in there, so you can actually have a chat and do your Skyping or whatever like that. Okay, there we have the shoulder buttons. You've got 2 bumpers up here like that, and 2 triggers. Perfectly nice and springy. Very nice, very good. Bumpers are actively pressable. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's actually really good. When you hold it in your hand, it's quite solid. I don't have massive hands, but I can imagine a lot of guys with big hands do have trouble with holding, say, the Vita or the 3DS, because they are a lot smaller. So this might be actually a really good console for some of the heavy-knitted of you out there. Okay, let's flip this up. Voila, look at that. There you go, it's the 5-inch 1280 by 720p screen. Doesn't need to be any greater than that, to be brutally honest. It's fairly reasonably good as it is. I haven't had any issues with it. I don't think you will need any issues with it, and it looks fairly... Have a look at that. See, you got your D-pad. It's nice and springy. It's, it feels solid. It feels like a good D-pad. It's a lot better than the old 360 controller one was, that's for sure. And you can actually navigate fairly good with this. Your 2 thumbsticks are full size controller thumbsticks. There is no compromise in that in that way at all. It is fairly good. You've got your A, B, X, and your Y buttons, which are perfectly sized. Nice and big, nice and chunky, look at that. Ooh. Okay, then we have the Nvidia logo symbol here, which turns this thing on. You have the volume button, where you can choose to turn the volume up by pressing that, and you can change it through the screen, or if you change the settings, you can actually press that and use the left and right bumper buttons to turn the volume up and down, which is actually quite good. The sound in this thing is actually pretty loud. You know, I don't know whether or not you will ever need to be walking around with that much noise going on. I don't know, if you really are the most unsociable bastard on the planet and you really want to upset everybody and anybody around you, just crank this thing up to full blast and I guarantee you no one will like you. Your start and stop button, which is, you know, just to agree to go to stuff. Your return home screen picture there, your back button there. If you hold that down, you can shut down some previously looked at apps and things like that. Okay, but as a feel of a device, it's fairly nice. Look at that. It feels really solid. It feels really good. It's a gaming console. It's specifically going people them saying, look, you've had all these lovely little mobile telephone games and all this lovely little Skyping and FaceTime and all these great little apps where you can upload your faces on Facebook or whatever, you know, you can do whatever you like. But this is solidly for gaming. The screen is a touch screen. I'll get into that a bit later in the next video. 2 stereo speakers. This thing can really whiff out some sound, and that's about it. Okay. If we flip it over, all it will show is it's powered by Nvidia Tegra. It's a fingerprint magnet on the back there, so you may want to wipe that from time to time. But you know, size-wise and build-wise, it is a chunky monkey. It's massive in all due respects, but it does actually do. It does feel like a console. It feels pretty good and solid. You can kick the living shit out of this, and it should survive fairly well. Next video will be me powering this up. Okay.